Hi guys, and welcome to Single, Married, Separated, Divorced, and Single Again. And for me, Jehovah, obviously I'm married again, because remember I started this channel when I think shortly was going through a divorce process, and I was always told that, oh no, you don't really need a man. When you grow older, you can actually stay alone, and singleness is the best, and all those things. And I decided to start this channel because I was against that feminist movement, so-called. Because I always say that even though maybe I might not need a man for maybe different kind of like financial help and all that, I do want a man. I wanted a man. I wanted to be in a relationship with a man. And that doesn't say I was desperate, because I think by now you have followed my life and you know that this girl couldn't be desperate. She's far from being desperate, because, by the way, I've always been blessed with extremely handsome guys who adore the ground I'm walking on, who are very kind. I've not really met a hyena man type of man, to be quite honest. I've met a Jamaican whom I could call an extreme omega, very soft, which is quite weird because Jamaicans are known to be harsh. But he didn't really make it to the best three that was competing for my heart. But even the best three were very good best three. They were all handsome and extremely amazing men. I think I share them and so on, and all the characters and why I chose the person that I'm now married to. So originally this channel was made so that you know that even though you don't need a man for anything, it's okay to want a man. It's okay to want to be in a relationship with someone from the opposite side. Okay, don't feel guilty. So welcome back. Today we're gonna discuss on, for example, I think I talk about how a woman should dress accordingly to be able to still not, you have already won your husband's heart, now you want to, because remember, it's easy to get married, but it's staying married that is difficult. Okay, so let's get started, guys. Okay, welcome back. So I always want to talk from a perspective of not only the woman, because I'm a woman, but also from a man perspective, because I'm married to a man, obviously. So I'm always want to talk from both sides, because when you get to know the opposite side, you get to know what they want. But now I'm talking from a perspective where I know exactly what most women want. I don't have to talk on behalf of all the women, because I'm not quite sure we want the same thing. But because I've already discussed about, how to, I think I discussed where I use one of my best friend, Pastor E, as an example of how to dress, to continue dressing well even after you get married. Because the problem with people is that they get used to their men, and now they're not dressing well anymore. A man need to, because I mean, if I go to date someone, I want you to look like that. Now, lo and behold, you give birth, you get maybe bigger and so on. That's different. And even in that, you still have to want to keep your body. You still have to want to maintain it, even if you are not exactly going to be the same size. But at least don't just let it loose, okay? So now we talk from a perspective of, that in accordance to, like, for example, towards your men. Now we are going to talk about, what about us women? We also don't want a man who's loose, who has a big tummy, saying that, okay, big tummy means like you are rich and wealthy. What? For me, that's so stupid. When people say that, I'm like, what? That means you are rich? Come on, be wealthy and still, maintain a very good body. What's the problem with that? Anyway, so today we're going to talk about that. And I'm going to obviously discuss what is it really that women look for in a man. And I can tell you now that you might think that most women don't care, and I think it differs, right? Because I know women who will say that, I don't have friends like that though, but I know of watching movies, and I know that in reality they do exist. Women who say, I don't really care how he looks like, I don't really care like whether he's fat or whatever, as long as he brings money to the table, as long as I'm well taken care of, as long as blah blah blah, as long as when he comes back from wherever he goes, he bring me stuff. And I think those are the type of women that are really gold diggers. Like, you're not in there for the men, you are there for your own kind of selfish desires and benefits, you know. But a real woman, a woman who loves her husband, actually want her husband taken care of. I personally, like, when I met my husband is a hard worker. So he's one of those people who, because he works so hard, you know, and go the extra mile and so on. So he wasn't really dressing well. And then I found this man and I'm like, my God, this man has a beautiful body. Like, he need to compliment his body with beautiful attires and so on. So I started investing in, and my husband is very, I think that's, you know, my husband is like, and I don't want to talk about him on all the videos, but I end up talking about him because I feel like so blessed and highly favored, because he's one of those people who just, he is just so understanding. Like, it's hard to find a man who just listen to his wife so much. I just love it. Like, honestly speaking, I feel like he doesn't agree with everything, but he does listen. Like, yesterday I was talking to someone and the person was like, Jehovah, you look so happy, you're glowing, what is going on? I said, because I'm married to somebody that I can almost come close to God. It's almost like, I feel like I'm married to God. And the person was laughing and saying, oh my God, Jehovah, I'm so happy for you. I can see that you are the type of person who loves sincerely and so on. And that's really true. But I also say that at least sometimes we have disagreement, which makes me to at least realize that, okay, at least I'm not married to God. But most of the time, that's what I think. For example, when we go back to clothing, my husband wasn't like, most men are like that. Most men are like, oh no, you can decide for me what to wear. You can tell me what to do. But my husband was so agreeing. Like, okay, so you think this one doesn't look good? Okay. Then, okay, so like, he was so in agreement. He would say that, okay, but I love these pants. I'm like, but sweetheart, it doesn't let you look good. It really makes you look old. And you have beautiful legs and so on. Why can you wear shorts and so on? He always loved excessive clothing, like, for example, and even like oversized clothing. And I'm like, why are you wearing, you know, oversized clothing with such a beautiful body? And I feel like it's also part of your job as a woman to be able to help your husband dress up. Because I feel like, and I'm not putting blame on maybe his ex, but I feel like his ex was really concentrating on him bringing the money. She didn't really care about how he looks. And maybe there were also trust issues. You know, sometimes when you have trust issue with your boyfriend and so on, you have this thing of not wanting them to look good. So that probably is another problem. But for me, I really have no issues with him looking good. In fact, I love it when we're walking around and I can see that ladies are looking at my man. I'm like, he's mine. Because when we are walking around, I can see how ladies are giving that, you know, like, who's that hot guy? Oh, he's with a beautiful and equally beautiful woman. Anyway, and that doesn't mean that when we are walking around, guys don't look at me. But I also love the fact, I think that's why me and this man, we're just the same. Because he will choose clothes for me that he knows that when we're walking around, men are going to look at me. Like, you know, I remember this one time, and I'm going to put the photo here of what he shows for me. And then when I was walking out, because, you know, like, him and his brother were our apartment is this side, his is that side. So his brother was like, no, you can go out like that. I'm like, what do you mean? You can go out like that. And I think his brother had a point probably. And then I came back and I'm like, your brother said I can go out like this. And he's like, what do you mean? It's not like we're going to my mom. So why can you go like that? No, I want you to go like that. You look beautiful. And, you know, obviously I'm listening to my husband, so I end up going like that. But I mean, what I'm trying to say is there is no trust issues where I don't want him to look good and he doesn't want me to look good. We both want to look beautiful. Like, I want him to look, as handsome as he can, and he wants me to look as beautiful as I can, and I think that's a good balance. So yes, you need to help your husband dress. Like if you have one of those stubborn men that it's either his way or the highway, you have to obviously come from another kind of side, because men are not the same. Mine is very, very easy. He was very easy to convince. And even when it comes to, like, how he didn't have a beard. So I'm like, love, you look like you can look good with a beard. He was like, really? I don't know, I've never tried. I'm like, yeah, I think you should try. He's like, I don't think so. So what I love about him is that, so he didn't really, start immediately growing his beard. But I think within a month, he called me, and just the fact that he called me and then he said, can you see? I'm like, can I see what? And then he said, can you see I'm growing the beard? Just the fact that he was showing me already told me that he was doing it because he was listening to me, and he looks so cute. Like, I love his beard because it's so white. I love it so much, kind of white mixed with black and so on. So I'm fortunate because I have a man who listen and who can. Now that doesn't mean that it's like he listen to everything. There's some things that I can say this and this and say, oh no, I like those shoes, and so on. But he does listen. He changed a lot of things, because the way I found him, I found this handsome guy who just dressed like I was even teaching him, like, come on, you look like a farmer, somebody working on the farm. Like, why? And that's because his concentration was just walk, walk, walk. And even now that he's with me, the way he's relaxed, like we can sit down and watch movie. That guy would not even watch a movie. He thought that's like, but come on, you have to relax. So anyway, having said that, guys, you as a man, I'm now talking to the men. Obviously, I was talking to the men, but I was talking from a perspective of a woman helping the men. So, but you as a man, you need to make sure that you dress well for your wife or for your girlfriend if you're dating, maybe preparing for marriage and so on. And don't stop after marriage. Now you don't care about how you look. You have to want to look good. I feel like when people really love each other, to be quite honest, the wanting to impress is there, to be quite honest. Me personally, when I'm with my husband or even when he's not there, and like, I just feel like, for example, we're gonna do a video call, I feel like I'm preparing for a date. Like, you should be able to go the extra mile to look beautiful for your husband, and you should be able to go the extra mile to look handsome for your wife. Why not? Like, we are in a distant relationship, so we try our best to really, really look beautiful or handsome for each other. My husband, I don't even think he's trying, because my husband, like, he could, but that's the other thing too. He feels the same way, but I feel like even if he wakes up, like, I call him unexpectedly and he's lying down, and I will, for example, I will say, love, I want to see your whole body, like, and you will put the camera so I can see him. He's extremely handsome. Even when he wakes up, he feels the same. He will say that, I will wake up, and then he will say that, oh, you look so pretty, like you're just making, my whole body move around and so on. I'm like, I just woke up. I haven't even done anything. He said, yeah, you look beautiful. So I think that's a good thing about having a very healthy attraction for each other. Going back to the point, you need to make sure that you smell good for your wife, okay? Smell good. Guys, this thing of like, we are staying together, so I probably don't have to smell good. No, that's not good. That's really not good. This is the things that makes relationship go dry, honestly speaking. Because now you are not smelling good, and then she's passing somewhere else, and she passed a man who smells good. Like, these are things that actually make people or create temptations. Now, I know that some people, like me personally, I'm not impressed by things like that, but I do like it that my husband does smell good. But I'm not impressed, like, oh, if I find somebody on the street who smell good and so on. But I'm talking on a general kind of way, because we are not the same. Some people are just made like that. They're faithful regardless of what happened. I'm personally, I don't have to say that about myself, but I know myself. I just can't cheat. Like, I just can't. I'm just like that, So it's not, for me, I always say that it's not about this person is more handsome than whoever, whatever. But when I'm attracted to that person, my focus is just on that person. I don't look around like this, and no, that's just that person. And I feel like, to be quite honest, my husband always, and I'm not praising him, I'm just telling the truth, because whose example am I going to use when it comes to perfume? He always loves smelling good. He loves smelling good. Yeah, and myself, I'm not a perfume person, but obviously, like I said, when you love someone, you are trying to impress, so you end up wanting to buy perfume and so on. So I love perfume. The other thing is also that, remember when I said you have to dress good, you have to smell good, you have to also, love your wife in her love language. I don't know whether men understand this. And especially when I'm talking to African men, this is very important. Loving your wife in her love language, it's the best, honestly speaking. This is what I am talking about when I'm talking about the love language. And I'm not going to go into like the 4 love languages or whatever, although those are important, because I feel like it's not only 4 love languages, there's a lot of other love languages. But for example, what does your wife really like? Does he like flowers? For example, me personally, I think me and my husband, we kind of go into each other love languages, because, okay, so I'm not a flower girl. Like, don't even buy me flowers, and my husband knows that. But, like, for example, I love, touch. So meaning that words of affirmation, I'm not into words of affirmation like that, but my husband loves doing, like, words of affirmation means like it's the person telling you he loves you. My husband do that without me. Like, that's not my love language, in the sense of like, I don't really go by words like that, because I feel like actions already show more than enough. But it doesn't mean that because my husband is saying it, I'm not appreciating it. I love the fact that he's saying it. He loves saying it in general. I love you, you are pretty, you are beautiful. Like, he just loves praising me, to be quite honest. And he's very shy, so I don't know whether that can be his love language, because when I praise him, he's blushing. Imagine making an African man blush. He's blushing a lot, like. And I think, because, I don't know, I feel like maybe in his previous relationship, he wasn't told that enough. To be quite honest, let me be honest. My husband, I don't think he was appreciated in his previous relationships, because from what he went through, I think he was really not appreciated. And you know what? I have to thank God for that, because have they appreciated this man, because he's a very faithful man. Like, he's the type that will stick to one woman. But unfortunately, he went through relationships and so on, and that, makes him, unfortunately, not be able to stand to where, he had children and so on. But I feel like if he was treated, right, he would be the kind of person who would stick with one woman. But I thank God, I'm sorry to say that I thank God, but I thank God, because then now I wouldn't have gotten this wonderful. I thank God it didn't work out with other women, because now I got myself a Joel, and maybe they were not meant to be. Maybe they will get other men that they will appreciate. But I feel like my husband was put down. The very reason I say that is because even when I praise him, he's blushing a lot. But he's like, okay, my wife, thank you. Okay, that's enough. Like, it's almost like he can't get, like, me, when you're praising me, I can't get enough. Come on, let it come. I love compliments. Having said that, I want to say that, okay, so let's go back to the love language again. So my love language, like I said, it's not words of affirmation, although my husband loves praising me. But my love language is definitely touch. And we are, for example, when we are in Cameroon, and he's actually, it's also his love language. It's also touch, but he's crazy about touching, like touching me on my way to wherever. But I think he's also like, especially when we're in Cameroon, it's different, because there, it's a complete African country where it's completely strict and kind of like very traditional. So even holding hands is kind of taboo. So we still hold hands, but it's almost like the way people look at us. But I always feel like people don't look at us like, oh, what are they doing? I feel like they look at us with admiration. But he's very touchy, I'm very touchy, so we can't really, like, we can't stay without touching each other. Obviously, that means our love language is the same, but I think his love language is also words of affirmation, because although he's shy in that sense, I think he loves it, but I can see that the way he receives it is like he hasn't gotten that in his previous relationship, but that doesn't mean that he doesn't love it. So going back to that, you need to get to know your spouse. What does your wife like? Does she like being bought a gift? Does she like being praised? You know, when she cooks, like my husband praised me a lot. When I cook, like a lot, because he loves food, and I love that. I love being able to cook for my husband and him enjoying my food. I love that, because in my previous relationship, I didn't have to cook. It was, you know, a different scenario where I didn't even cook. And I think I'm enjoying cooking for somebody who appreciates it, but that doesn't mean that I wasn't feeling like spoiled in the sense that I didn't have to cook. But now I love cooking because I have somebody who finished my food and really like appreciate my food. So you guys need to get to know your love languages, but right now I'm speaking to the men, so you need to know, what does your wife like? What is she into? Is she into gift? Is she into surprises? And so on. Like my husband, one of the things about my husband that is so weird is like he loves surprises. He loves surprises so much that I don't get to be surprised anymore, because he surprised me even in unsurprising ways. Like everything to him is a surprise. Like my wife, I have a surprise for you. I bought you this. Like everything. Oh my God, that's so nice. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you, my husband. Again, as usual, any video that I make end up being, you know, including you, because you are part of my life, right? You are me and I'm you, as you usually say. He always say that. My husband always say that. We are one. You are me and I'm you. Anyway, bye guys, and enjoy your weekend. Today is Friday the 7th.